Paul was never provided with any real evidence of guilt. Defense witnesses were excluded. He was denied a fair trial, including the opportunity to defend himself properly or even communicate with his family. Last month on May 16th, Paul reached his 1,600-day illegally being held hostage in the Russian Federation for a crime he did not commit.
David, this is something you and your family already know, but hearing it stated like that in Congress, what is your reaction?
Well, it's hard to hear, but it's the truth. And frankly, it's nice to hear Congress continue their unwavering support for Paul and for Evan Gershkovich and other American wrongful detainees around the world, and to hear them state it, and that this is the third time that Congress has been looking at Paul's case and putting forward a resolution, and that they will continue to do so, whether it's 1,600 days or 1,700 days or however long it takes.
This is the third time. Does this time feel any different? Are you more optimistic?
No, I'm definitely not more optimistic. I think, unfortunately, what you see with cases like Mark Swiden and Kai Li in China, or Siamak Namazi and Imad Shargi in Iran, is that the longer the hostage is held, the harder it can become to get them free. But I think the important thing for us, having them do this the third time, and maybe they'll have to do it a fourth time in the next Congress, is that it shows the Kremlin that the U.S. government isn't going to back down in these cases. And I think that that's really important. They are thugs, and they only will respond to forceful, unwavering commitment to bring Americans home.
And commitment all the way to the top. Do you believe that your brother's return hinges on President Biden's direct involvement?
Well, in a way, yes. I think it will require him to make a decision to make a concession on behalf of the U.S. government. But at the end of the day, it really is President Putin and the Kremlin who has all of the power to let Paul go, to let Evan Gershkovich go. And it's persuading those people that is in their best interests, because it's not really about Russia. It's about those individuals and their self-interest, and persuading them to see that it's better to have Paul and Evan and other Americans go home.
And ultimately, it comes down to who they want back, right? We saw the prisoner swap with Brittany Griner. The so-called merchant of death was swapped for her safe return back to the U.S. Are you hearing about any other high-profile Russians that they may be discussing? Is that information that trickles down to you and your family?
It doesn't, although we watch a lot of news to try and understand what might happen. I think also looking at it only as a prisoner exchange narrows it unnecessarily. There are other things that the Kremlin might want, sanctions relief. They might want their diplomatic properties back and things like that. And it may not be that in Paul's case that they want those things, but there are other concessions that the U.S. government could make and that the Russians could accept in order to enable these exchanges to happen.
And sanctions directly related to the war in Ukraine and Russia's invasion. Does the invasion more than a year ago further complicate your brother's case?
I'm not sure that it does. I think that a lot of the people now involved in the Kremlin who weren't originally sanctioned as individuals now are, and so they may be feeling the personal pressure. And so, again, sanctions relief lifted on people from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs or other agencies who are not directly involved in the Ukraine war may still be something that the U.S. government could consider. But it's hard to tell. I mean, at the end of the day, it really is President Putin and his self-interest and figuring out whether he's going to release Paul or not.
Your brother's health and well-being, I know, top of mind for you and your family. And as calls grow louder for his return, do you worry about retaliation against him?
Oh, all the time. I think that that's one of the things that, unfortunately, my parents who are in their 80s have to live with every day. It's the anxiety of wondering whether Paul's going to call. And then if he is able to call, it's the anxiety of what he's going to tell them. And recently he has been experiencing retaliation by the prison guards. A Russian propaganda TV station came out to try to interview him, and he refused. And so he's had his possessions stolen and kicked around by the prison guards. He's had his ability to phone our parents or phone the U.S. Embassy interfered with on a regular basis. And it makes it hard. I mean, because it means that he is living with that uncertainty day to day, and our parents are living with that uncertainty day to day. And it's a hard way to live your life.
How closely are you and your family in touch with the family and friends of Evan Gershkovich?
When he was arrested, our family reached out to his, and there was a connection made, and we're available if they ever need to speak to us.
Finally, when was the last call from your brother, and how is his health?
His health seems okay. I think it was a few days ago. I've lost track again with this ongoing interference. Some days he gets to call and some days he doesn't. But he sounds like he's doing the best that he can, and looking forward to hearing from the prosecutor in Mordovia, who we asked to go out and visit the prison and to look into this retaliatory behavior.
Well, some major developments. We'll see if it results in any change in your brother's case. David, as always, thank you.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.